times you ever see Michelle getting in there and doing some cleaning? Hey!
Lucky to keep a little bit for the toast if you wouldn't mind, so here's John. Mum and Dad, as I've called them for the last 25 years. Colleen's already mentioned the various things that Dad does around the place. I don't know what I'd do without them, because I'm sure after the house we lived there would have fallen down if it wasn't for Dad. Probably applies to my boat as well. She's put probably more hours into fixing things around the house than the boat that I have. But mind you, she's got a lot more time than I have. Anyway, I'd like you to please charge your glasses and drink a toast to Mum and Dad Bessie.
First, Rita arrived. Started out as Mum's little helper. Now she's God's little helper. Second, Colleen. She thought she was the best looking of the sisters, but I'll never know. And now she's raised the population of Buckland's Beach. Third, the long cane John. Good looking John. He lives on the hill in Wellington and thinks he's one of the big guys. And then baby Tony. Loved by his brother and sisters, shy and lovable. We wish he was here today, but Australia's too far away. They all inherited their mother's good looks. Perhaps their father's brains. Definitely Dad's nose. There's a lot I could tell you about Vincent, but I'll leave that to the Bessies. I could write a book about Bessie. Perhaps one day I will. She was the eldest of 6 kids, came to New Zealand at the age of 2. That makes her a pom. Being the eldest, she was like the second mother to our gang. We were all sad our favourite sister Doreen, who was the bridesmaid at this Bessie wedding that is not with us today. I am stepping in to take her place as bridesmaid. Have we got it like a bridesmaid? Yes. But her daughters are here today to take Doreen's place. I'd like to give a special thanks to Sister Rita and Colleen for arranging this party. It's the first family reunion without a family funeral. So here's wishing Bessie and Vincent the happiest anniversary ever. Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is the cutting of the cake. And I think associated with this, I'd like to personally, I'm sure on behalf of all the people involved here today, to thank Sister Monica for the tremendous effort that she's put in. Now this is a very special cake. Not only does it look very similar to the one 50 years ago, I assume it's not the same one. But I asked Rita if I could get a copy of the recipe for it, and she's given it to me. It's an unusual recipe, so I'll just read it quickly to you. You need 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of sugar, 4 large eggs, 1 cup of dried fruit, a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, lemon juice, a cup of brown sugar, and 1 or 2 quarts of whiskey. This is the recipe. Before you start, sample the whiskey to check for quality. Good, isn't it? Now go ahead. Select a large mixing bowl, measuring cup, etc. Check the whiskey again, as it must be just right. To be sure the whiskey is the highest quality, Pour 1 level cup into a glass and drink it as fast as you can. Repeat. With an electric mixer, beat 1 cup of butter in a large fluffy bowl. Add 1 teaspoon of sugar and beat again. Meanwhile, make sure that the whiskey is still of the finest quality. Try another tub. Open second quart if necessary. Add 2 arch legs, 2 cups of fried fruit, and beat till high. If the fruit gets stuck in the beaters, pry it loose with a juicer over. Sample the whiskey again, checking for toxicity. Next, sift 3 cups of salt or anything, it really doesn't matter, and sample the whiskey. Sift half a pint of lemon juice. Fold in the top butter and the strained nuts. Add 1 tablespoon of brown sugar or whatever colour you can find. And whisk it well. Grease oven and turn cake pan into 350 degrees. Now pour the whole mess into the cover and eight. Check the whiskey again and vote again. So this is what we're going to try this afternoon. So we now have the cutting of the cake ceremony.
Down away, Colin.
In the beginning, we have a system it's actually a whole carry tree. There's not one child. Hang on. Young ones, can you imagine your granddad in opera or a captain of a ship? He was actually the captain of the Pinafore. Right. If it was today, I think he might have sung with Danny Curry or one of these pop stars. On the courting front, things were hotting up. We all remember this guy, don't we? It's a familiar sight in the Ellerslie house, and I used to spy on them. They actually said they were making a flora, but and the flowers were stopped. It's funny how he ended up tending them. And at last, and so they started out together. Now, a young couple, they usually want privacy, but I think this is taken a bit too far with the barbed wire and the machine gun posted at the back. They said it was for, holding off the Japs, but this is actually what happened in the days of 1940, etc. They did have barbed wire and breaches. The next three photos, well, they may or may not be true, but when you see the fourth one, I think I challenge them to deny it. Now, this was correct. Like 6 months before, this was in September, they got married in March of the next year. Yeah. 6 months after, now this may not be true, but you'll find out that it's quite correct. Now Vincent did have a lathe. I'm sure Betty made use of it. Now, can they really deny that all this happened when they see this one? Was it 7 houses or 6 or what? Did you or did you not repair houses? My case rests. This next one says everything, I think. You want to say more? And the next one? Man, not really, I tell you. You want to know you? Captain of the Pinafore too, right? On the home front, Rita, I know, was nuts on the bagpipes. Colleen was nuts on boys and the piano. And John dreamed up nuts and became an engineer. And Tony gathered the nuts and made a motorbike. Cooperation between Betty and Vincent were always there. She actually drove the getaway car while he next to good. Notice that the inland revenue take a great interest in what he's doing up there too. And once a year they had a holiday together. I believe they had to get up very early. At his job, 10 o'clock was the early test time for him. And as a total result, that happened. Betty as he used to cook pots and pots for him, hasn't he? True Irishman, I tell you. On Saturday, I'm told he was given 6pence to spend, and this he saved to buy his ultimate dream. Actually, by the time he could afford it, it was too darn heavy for his aging bones, and he had to sell it. Got a push bike instead. Good life for the old. And she was pretty hot at the job too. So what? She burnt the rollers. You think that the mini skirt and the stilettos? Little cool cat. On the home front, she sewed his trousers actually. They never did tell me whether he was actually in them at the time or not. That's what I was told. Down here. And for her efforts, and now comes the ultimate realization. I have to apologise to you. That's what I don't know what she said on the paper of paper. Who are those two Indian columns? Columns I haven't quite seen. or to be continued, but just wait. Hang on a second. Remember the first picture? Well, we've just got one more. It's sort of a history repeating itself. You remember just the Thundercloud? She actually... Sorry, Rita, where are you going? That's all, folks.
Going in your stove. On film.
Well, thank you all for listening to our canterbury, and to Peter for a lot of hard work, as we can all see. It seems to me that his mystic vocation is looks like he would have been a great cartoonist. I should say he is a great cartoonist. But I must thank you all very, very much for coming along and making this such an exciting and auspicious occasion. You've all been very, very good. Just on behalf of myself and Betty, I've got to thank you for all the presents and for all the very good wishes. I really want to thank Father Peter for his part in it too. I'm sorry I missed him, but he's a wonderful priest, and he had a very nice sermon, etc. That's all I can say, and thank you very much indeed for coming along.
The other side of the hall, they may well have some mistakes in them, so please correct them, and after all this is finished, we will type them up, and if there is anything in particular that you would like sent to you of information that is on the walls, if you could just leave me your name and address and what it is that you would like us to send out. I'm sure that you'd like copies of the Vesey, historical documentation on the name Vesey, which Denise brought back from one of her trips overseas. And also up here there's the Vesey coat of arms, which is a very wonderful thing to have. And I thank Denise very much for bringing that along for us. So if there is any copies, we'd be very happy to send them if you leave me your name and address. Thank you.